This week's therapy video focuses on traumatic brain injury, and the lesson plan is geared toward high school students and also adults. Now, it's really important when working with older teenagers and adults to keep in mind that a lot of times we're dealing with formerly normal functioning people who have lost some of their ability quite recently due to the brain injury. They may be frustrated, and it's important to speak to them in the same tone of voice that you would use when speaking to any other person of their age group, and not to talk down to them. Now, I would begin by asking, do you ever have a time when you have difficulty remembering how to do something that used to be a part of your daily routine? Now, I wouldn't ask this question of the patient unless I knew that they already are having some trouble with that. Next, I would introduce the concept of a pilot checklist. Now, an airplane pilot never takes off in an airplane until they've gone through a complete checklist of things that need to be ready inside and outside the plane so that they can fly safely. And it doesn't matter if they're still learning how to fly or they've been doing it for 30 years. Everyone uses a safety checklist because there are a lot of things to remember, and forgetting even one thing can be very dangerous. This is an example of a safety checklist for a small airplane like a Cessna, and you can see just how many steps it takes before you can even get ready to fly. I like this particular example because it also has a list of emergency procedures on the back in case something goes wrong. I would also point out and emphasize that it doesn't matter how smart someone is or how good they are at doing their job, everyone forgets things sometimes. Even surgeons have started using checklists before they perform surgery because it can be easy to forget a really simple part of the procedure. And doing a checklist helps them do their job better and prevent mistakes. The next step would be to help the student make a checklist for a household activity that is a part of that person's daily routine. It can be something like making coffee, doing the laundry, or brushing their teeth. And now we would work together to brainstorm each of the steps for doing that activity and then talk about what order they should go in. Now, if the client starts to show signs of frustration, we can take a break for a few minutes. We don't have to work all the way through. If that person expresses any interest in airplanes or aviation, we might pause and watch a brief video of a pilot getting ready for takeoff. That will keep them engaged, maybe give them a little bit of cool-off time, and also reinforce the concept. If the student is able to type or write, then they can write out the actual final copy of the checklist. This one here is for brushing teeth, and you can see we've got a very bold title here, and we've formatted it. Now, you can either make the steps in short sentences like I've done here, or, as in the style of this checklist, just put in a few brief words or phrases. That all depends on what is easiest and works best for the individual. And the next step is to take this checklist and either laminate it or stick it into a transparent sheet protector like this. Now, this checklist will hang on the wall in a very visible place wherever it's needed. For example, this one is for brushing teeth, so you might have them take it home, tape it to the bathroom wall so that it's very visible and it comes in handy when they need it. Now, in future sessions, we can also make a notebook that contains checklists for activities outside the house that the student or client can consult whenever they need help performing certain tasks. This is also a great activity for students. I would give a copy of this lesson plan to their regular classroom teacher, and they can use that format also to create a checklist to outline how to perform certain classroom assignments or activities. I would also give an outline of this lesson plan to the caregiver or parents or family of the person so that they can create their own checklists at home whenever they have a new activity that needs to be written out into an understandable format. Or if this checklist needs to be revised at home because the routine changes or they realize that a few steps are missing, then we can also edit some of those details. I like this activity because it's a great thing that can be used inside the classroom for students, and it can be used as an adaptation for regular classroom instruction.